So my name's Leah Battle, and I'm the founder of Territorio Zaguates, or Land of the Stray, as you may have heard of it. We were thinking the other day how hard things seem to be lately for everyone. It's it's not an easy time for anyone, even for us in this paradise where we live. There's turmoil worldwide. There's unrest. Um, there's a lot going on in the world. And maybe we, in particular, at Land of the Strays, are kind of blessed to be in our own little world where our citizens are actually four-legged creatures who don't care if a day is good or bad. They're happy. And they don't care what the economy is doing. They're just there. They're happy. And they want to be with you, and they want to give you love, and they want to give you company, and they want a chance to live, and they want to be there one more day, whether it's a good world or a bad world. And it kind of sucks you into their world, at least the time you're with them. So it's an escape from reality because those things are still going on. But it also teaches us that there's a choice. There is a choice. You can look out into the darkness that's out there. Inevitably, it's out there. But it's not the only thing that's out there. There's still beautiful stuff. There's still positive things going on. And there's still wonderful creatures, non-human creatures who are doing their best to cheer us up. And we have the privilege of working with them and living in their example and learning from their example. So we're very happy, and we'd like everybody to know that what we get to do every day is possible for everyone. Maybe you don't have 2,000 dogs to remind you, but if you don't have your own dog to remind you, or your own cat, or your own turtle, or whatever little animal brings you joy, then look out on a sunset, on a flower, on something that's living in another reality that isn't ours. So there are beautiful things out there. There are things that are still good in the world. Just look for them. They're there. Let's make them louder than all the ugly stuff that's going on. Well, when things get dark in Territorio, and they do because it's complicated. I mean, keeping all these dogs fed and struggling with a government that doesn't love us and all the challenges that come with trying to change the status quo. It's obviously not easy, but we have little reminders every day of just how important our work is and how important it is to keep going beyond the feeling of the challenge, beyond the feeling of the difficulty, because there is another side. I mean, if you keep going beyond the challenge, you'll end up on the other side. How long that peace and quiet will last, no one knows, but it will be there. And we have so many dogs that have been emblematic to that and have been exactly what we needed in the moment we needed. Dogs that we maybe took under our care and we were pretty sure they weren't going to make it. Maybe dogs that were there just as a reminder that they deserve to leave this world knowing that somebody tried to save them, that somebody cared enough to try and save them. And after a lot of work and a lot of love and a lot of patience and a lot of hope, they do make it to the other side. And not only is that great for us because we were able to do what we set out to do, but that dog becomes a daily reminder of the fact that if you keep going, you can create great stuff, great things, like a life that is now. For example, Toño, this little puppy, he was already sick, he came from a sick mom. His mom had been tied up to a tree. She was pregnant, very undernourished, so her babies, a few of them didn't make it. Antonio came down with parvo, distemper, ehrlichia. Anything you could get, he got. He was on death's bed more times than I can remember. And that little dog kept going, and we kept going for him. And today, he's actually a beautiful, bouncing, mischievous little creature that greets you and at the same time teaches you or reminds you that a few months before, everything seemed to be lost. Everything around him was dark. Everything around him seemed to be going the wrong way. And here he is. Because somebody kept going. And because he wanted to keep going too. So, going through that difficulty, facing the challenges, and not giving up means, even if it's a remote possibility, you are giving them the possibility of a happy life up ahead. And when they make it, and when they're living their best life, so are you. Because you have that living, beating reminder that there is a way to get through the hardship, and that's your biggest prize. You achieved a life. You achieved happiness in another little creature, and that's it. That's exactly what you need to remind yourself that nothing is so big. Nothing is bigger than your will to keep trying. No problem is bigger than your will to try. So as long as you keep trying, you're winning.
Do you remember any other cases apart from Antonio?
I remember, Jesus, so many, but I remember Chonito. I remember Chonito, little black mutt, typical dog that gets overlooked anyways. And this dog came to us with a particularly sad story, because this was a little dog who used to walk with his irresponsible owner as his shadow every day, in and out. And his owner was not the most responsible person, and his owner liked to drink. And Chonito, as we called him, would wait for him all night if necessary, outside of the cantinas, the bars. And on one night, when the guy came out, drunk, and Chonito was, as always, happy to see him, Chonito came up to him and obviously just rested his front legs on his legs, as most of our dogs would do. And what would we do? We would pet their head, or no, this guy took out his machete and slashed off one of his legs. So here we had a very plain-looking black dog with a very sad story, who had been betrayed by his owner. Very sad, very dark, very, very hopeless. Everything was wrong about it. And yet that dog, as soon as he was strong enough to walk, as soon as he was strong enough to get up and go, he was the best greeter we had at the farm. He was the first one to run towards people and to jump up and look for love. And so his will to forgive and forget was a daily reminder for us to do the same. If he can be happy and love the same humans who could have done this to him as well, we could too, right? But the best thing about Chonito was that, as ordinary as he was, and now limited by his 3 legs, limited in our view, not in his view, he was actually adopted by the greatest family in the United States. He now lives in the States. He's loved, he's valued, he's he's a special member of a family who will do anything and everything he needs from now till the day he takes his last breath, which is what he always deserved and which is what he would have never gotten if nobody had tried to save him after what had happened to him. So the fact that he got a chance and the fact that he didn't lose hope in humanity has him living like a king today, sitting poolside with vests and two or three other brothers. So Chonito reminds me of forgiveness. Toño reminds me of resilience and luck. And every day, our shelter up there, I mean, every day we get reminded of the fact that somewhere, someone up there agrees with what we do. I mean, as hard as it's been, we've always had support from our community, from people here, people who donate in the States. Our needs are huge. And when sometimes it feels like we're not going to make it, sometimes it feels like we were up against an impossible challenge. And somehow, somewhere, people come through. And here we are, we're still going, still fighting. First pet ever in my life. Eek, can I go back that far? Wait. Weirdly, in my life, as a child, I only had 2 dogs. I mean, they were both Boston Terriers, and that's it. From the time I was a little girl to the time I was a teenager, that's all I remember having, 2 dogs. But my pets were toads and snakes and lizards. I don't know which well, I think a snake was the first one. I think a snake was my first pet. And it came from actually an American student who graduated and had to go back to the States. He had bought them legally in the States. They were pythons. He had bought them legally in the States and had brought them down, probably smuggled in here, but he had to go back to university because he'd been accepted, and he couldn't take them back. And he didn't know what to do with them, so of course, I love snakes, so I had them for a long time until I had to move out of my parents' home, and then it meant I had to take them with me and feed them myself, and that's something I could not do. Feed a live animal to another animal, that is something I just couldn't do. So I gave them to my brother, and he took care of that part. That was it. But in terms of dogs, only 2 dogs in my life. I thought dogs didn't really need me. I thought it was other kinds of animals that needed me. And the first dog who actually changed my view completely, I think they break your heart. There's an animal that breaks your heart and it never mends the same. It never goes back to the same again. Because I remember the moment Frizzy looked at me. She wasn't even my dog at that time. I was just sort of placing her babies. And that was it. And I had found homes for her babies. And I had brought her along to show how small she was. And I was going to return her to the woman I was helping find homes for those babies. And she was riding as a co-pilot in the car, and we were just driving back. And I was pretty satisfied that I had found homes for the same home for the 3 babies. And I just looked over to the dog, and she was looking at me. I swear it was as if she was saying, you took my babies. You took the only thing I had. And now what? And that simply destroyed me. And I remember crying and getting home, and I was crying when I got out of the car, and I told my husband, I go, what are we going to do? They didn't want her, because the idea was that they might take her too. They didn't want her, and he said, that's okay. We can keep her here while we find a home for her. Never found a home for her. She stayed with me, and she's the dog that I think changed my view towards, I don't know, towards dogs. And still miss her. She'll always be my profile picture. Still miss her. There have been, and it's the reason why I'm pretty sure somebody up there is on her side. There have been many moments where I felt like this is it. I mean, I don't know where to go from here. I remember working 19 hours a day because I knew that if I didn't work those 19 hours a day, we wouldn't have enough to buy the food for the dogs. And that was Monday through Friday. Sometimes it had to go into Saturday. And there was a week that we just couldn't make it. And I had been buying bags of rice to mix with the food. And I was thinking, I don't know what else I'm going to do. Because since I work with students, it's kind of seasonal. And that day, when I was about to sit down and cry, I got a call from, we had been begging everybody who made food here for help. Don't give me the food. I'm not asking for it for free, but maybe if you don't put it in the packages, if I bring the bags, or maybe if you give me the bags that have ripped or seconds, whatever. But who are you? Why would anybody believe me? Right? It was early on, and it was very difficult. And that day I got a call from one of the biggest advertising agencies here. A guy named Sergio, who's still my friend today. And he said, look, we always have, once a year we have a pro bono campaign. And this year we want to do it with dogs. And we've been looking at your social media, and you're the only ones that don't play on pity. You actually play on the possibility of these dogs. And you are trying to elevate dogs without a breed, mutts, to give them value. You're trying to reteach society and eliminate the stigma. And we want to work with you if you want to work with us. And I said, well, it seems like what you're doing is what I've been trying to do, or what you're suggesting is what I've always wanted to do. And he said, great. I have all these people behind us that want to, lots of people, the people who make the food, bunch of other people who were going in on this campaign because it was a great exposure. And immediately he said, these people are going to give you, for as long as the campaign is running, they're going to give you all the food for the dogs. And I thought, this is impossible. This is not, I can't believe it. And there's been various instances like that. Moments when there was enough to buy the food and we bought the food, and then the rain or the wind tore off the roof from one of the buildings, and we didn't have enough to even go out and buy the roofing material. And somebody calls and goes, I just changed the roof without telling anyone. I've been remodeling my home and I changed the roof, and I have all these sheets of zinc, and does it work for you? And I was, yeah, sure it does. It's one after another. So it's very hard to give up when you have that, when you know someone special has your back. So yeah, it's been many, more than I can count, more than I can count. Obviously, the dogs. The dogs are my number one motivation. And then stubbornness, the fact that I'm not going to give in to the pressures. I rather they suffer from an ulcer than me. So it's basically them. It's not even it's not even something I have to think about. It's just automatic. That's the reason I give up. I get up every day. That's the reason I work. That's the reason I don't do a lot of stuff. Like, I don't travel. I don't care. I don't have nice stuff. I don't care. It's not a sacrifice. I don't sacrifice anything for them. It's just the way things have to be for me to have what makes me happy, which is them being happy, which is showing the world that there is another way to run a shelter, that if you try, you'll see that a shelter without cages is viable. And the longer we're open, the more possibilities of people realizing that. So that's it. It's nice to know I could die tomorrow and I don't care. First, I don't care because I've got so many dogs I'm looking forward to meeting on the other side. Who can fear death if already I know what's on the other side? But also, I've already done what I'm supposed to do. I know I've done what I was put on this earth to do. So I can go whenever. Please don't take me yet because I still have some things to do. But whenever I've done what I came to do, I'm ready. I can do it. I'm not scared. I'd love to see so many other dogs on the other side and be there to greet the ones that are still to come. Sí,
¿Cuál se lo das primero? ¿Cuáles?
Afrisi. Afrisi, Piohilda, the ones that left before I had a chance to say goodbye. Because a lot of them, I was able to say goodbye. So I know they're waiting. So I know they knew it was coming. But a lot of them I couldn't. And those are the first I'm going to look for. Because those I couldn't hold before they left. But it'll happen. It'll happen. It's awful. Losing a pet is horrible. It's all the love you had for them, all the love that you held and gave and shared and enjoyed while they were here. That love has nowhere to go anymore. It's stuck. It's stuck between your ribs and it hurts. It hurts like hell. And it's kind of, although it hurts, it's the least they deserve in exchange for everything they gave us, right? I mean, it's missing them shows how much we love them. Missing them and all the pain that comes with missing them is just testament to how important they were to us and to how much love we had. And it's hard because that loss is often not met with the same sympathy or understanding from society as human loss. So very often that loss is carried in silence, or you're forced to downplay how much it hurts because people may not understand. It doesn't matter if they don't understand. I always tell people, cry everything you have to cry. Be as sad as you need to be. It's okay. They earn that. That's our little homage to them. But when these people often feel it hurts so much, I never want to go through this again. To those, I want you to know, to those especially, another dog will not erase the presence or the importance or the love you had for the one you lost. Another dog is just another chapter, a new story, and a new little creature where you can deposit all that love that's aching, all the love that hurts because it has nowhere to go. And your own dog would want you to do this. Think of the times when your pet was there to console you when you were sad. And remember how much they felt your sadness. They're still around whether we see them or not. And I guarantee they don't want to see you sad. They don't want to see you crying and suffering. And if they could, they'd come back and be there for you, but they can't. So the closest we can do to helping them achieve that is find another creature that you can give your love to and that can make you happy again. He's still, your soul dog is still going to be your soul dog. Nothing's going to replace that. But this new little creature is going to remind you of all the lovely things you lived with your soul dog. It's going to give you a new purpose. And before you know it, that pain is going to become laughter and excitement. You're going to look forward to your walks. You're going to look forward to buying whatever food, to everything you used to look forward to with your own dog. And it's okay. It's okay. Your soul dog is still there and nothing's going to erase that memory. But start a new story. Start a new story and that'll heal your soul. But don't be afraid of suffering as many times as you have to suffer. Your heart can break 1,000,000 times. It means you loved 1,000,000 times. Just don't give up on having a dog just because you know eventually it'll hurt. They give us more happiness than pain. So keep going. Just keep adopting dogs. And with Giving Tuesday around the corner, I'd like to tell everybody or remind you how important it is. Doesn't matter who you believe in, but believe in a cause. Believe and help groups that are doing their best to change what's wrong out there, whether it's hunger, suffering, abandonment, small causes, or any cause at all, is working with limited funds. It's not a government organization. It's not, very often, these causes are groups of very passionate people who don't want to see darkness or sadness or cruelty perpetuated. And it's not easy. And they have to work very hard. And very often they don't have help. So by participating, by giving a little bit in that Giving Tuesday, you are also accepting that you're part of that change, that there will be change. It doesn't matter if it's small and a little bit at a time, that you are helping push whatever efforts are going towards better things, towards better futures, towards better intentions, towards better results. And it doesn't matter how much you give, you gave. You, in a way, you believed in them. And by believing in those causes, you're believing that there's hope for change. So don't give up. Don't give up on the hope that things will get better. There are a lot of people working towards things getting better. So just be there, be part of that movement, whatever movement you choose, be part of it.